Hello, for gaming community and Beyblade community as a whole. We're back for another podcast. I know it's been a while, probably about 3, 4 weeks, possibly a month. But a lot's been going on, a lot in the Beyblade scene as far as tournaments. Me and Mike are going to go over that and discuss that. But today we have a special guest interviewer. It's a good friend of mine in the Beyblade community. I've known him, was just talking to him possibly since I started the store. Got involved in Beyblade. I definitely know from Instagram. You all may know him as BeyBladeChallenge. Rob, we're gonna let him introduce himself. I don't really have any announcements. I never really do announcements anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Thank you all for the listeners. Shout out to y'all. It's very appreciative. I want to say that beforehand instead of always waiting for the end. All right. And without further ado, we have BeyBladeChallenge. I'm man Rob. How you doing today, man? You want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me. As you know, my Instagram tag, BeyBladeChallenge, that's myself and everyone who I play Beyblade with in the New Jersey community. But I'm Rob, for those of you who don't know. I know in the WBO I go by Robel. But my main man is not with me today, Max, the man with the long blonde hair, Mr. Palazzo. He's out sick, but I'm gonna make sure to represent the both of us the best I can.
Yeah, is he the one that's always battling with you in the videos?
Yeah.
Okay, I think the first Oh, go ahead.
I brought him with me. His first, I think I want to say his first outside Jersey appearance was at Nightwing's HMS event. He got third.
Okay, that's solid. How long ago was that?
Oof, I want to say it was warmer. I'll tell you that. Maybe,
yeah.
Who was a few months ago.
Who'd you bring with you for the FGC event in Maryland?
That was another guy that plays with us, Alex.
Okay, all right.
He plays TCGs, so we see him rarely. Yeah, he's a TCG guy. White shorts, Vanguard, stuff like that.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, that's Mike's thing. Yeah, solid. Because I know I seen him. I remember the first video that I remember really seeing. It may not have been the first video, but the one that stuck out. It was during the Super King meta, and you had the Solomon chip, the gold Solomon chip on Tempest. And I remember that was the first time I had ever seen that combo. And I think that was even before I was playing in WBO tournaments. Because the first tournament that I went to, I didn't play. I let my son play because it was full. And then I started doing FGC events. But before I went back to WBO, so this was probably like a year or two ago, I remember seeing that combo. And then I know it was sweeping through the WBO meta, but you were the first person I saw it with, and that was pretty dope, man.
Oh yeah, that combo crushed the summer over here in New Jersey. I was unstoppable. It was great.
Yeah,
all of like everyone's YouTube videos were like, yeah, it's me knocking you out. Sorry about that. The combo was Tempest, 1S painted for the burst resistance, and Ignition Dash.
Dash.
Yeah, off. No rebooting.
Oh, that's what's up. I think they were using that. Were they using that in Florida, Mike? And Mike, man, you hopped up here. How's your day been, man? I didn't even say hello to you or nothing.
No, I'm all right. Just 5 o'clock here. Got out of work not too long ago, and now just messing around with stuff. So talking to you guys.
Yeah. They use they have Ignition and that's Florida uses that driver, right? That's the same as, was it hybrid?
Yeah, Ignition is the I guess attack version of hybrid.
Yeah, that came with the Dragon.
Yeah,
it came with it. Okay, solid, man, solid. So, the infamous question, and it's good for me too because I don't even know myself. How did you get into Beyblade?
Oh man, I was thinking about this question since we were going to get this together. So I've been playing. So I'm going to age myself right now. I am 35. I've been
Oh, okay.
playing since Gen 1 in America for plastics.
Oh,
Back when you can go into Kmart and just pick up plastic Gen bays in a little cardboard box on sprue, build it and play.
yeah.
We're talking like 2004, 2002 maybe?
Yeah,
That's
it's early
Yeah.
2000s. I remember those days.
super old school. There's probably some listeners don't even know what Kmart is.
Yeah. That's what I'm
Yeah.
aging myself more and more. Yeah.
No, it's all good. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty dope. Were you competing back then too? Or you were just playing around?
No. I didn't watch the anime. I didn't like it. Like in America, the dub was really bad. I just
Mhm.
like spinning tops in general. Like as a kid, like it was cool. So when I saw the idea that like the anime had brought the toys to real life, I can spin tops all day by myself and be happy. Not playing against anybody else, just me and my tops. That's how I
Yeah.
did it.
Yeah.
The idea of battling with other people beyond my brain. Did not even like nah. I'm cool by myself. This is fine.
Oh, that's what's up, man. You had a genuine love for the game. When
Mm.
but I know you did start competing. When did that transition happen?
So I guess I give you a little more backstory. So uh I didn't play after HMS or Metal Fight. I was in the army and grew up and blah blah blah. So I want to say summer 2018. Um, I'm cleaning out my closet. I sell toys on the side like everybody else, just cleaning out my closet, and Beyblade just hit my brain. I'm like, oh, okay, I can pick up some Beyblades and spin some tops in the house. That's fine. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what like not thinking that the game has changed.
Mhm.
So I'm not thinking about Metal Fight or none of that. So I find out, oh, they made them out of metal. Cool, I'll pick up Metal Fight. And then I got Max involved. He had saw it and said, "Oh, cool, I'll try it out." Someone who has never been exposed to Beyblade, someone who only plays uh, TCGs. I met him
Mhm.
playing Yu-Gi-Oh back in the day. Um, we just started playing Metal Fight and picking stuff up, but it was very boring. I bought Dash Stadium, not Dash Stadium, the current Burst Standard and the Big Bay Stadium. I'm looking at my stadiums right now.
Mhm.
And we were just trying to like, we were playing with them all night. It's like, there's something missing. And Max said, hey, there's a thing called burst where they explode.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm a little apprehensive about that because after all these years of just knowing they stay connected, that's not very cool, man. I was like,
Yeah.
change is not cool. And then you look at the colors and you're like, whoa, there's a lot of red and blue, man. Like, I
Yeah.
like Superman like everybody else, but
Yeah.
just too
Yeah.
much red and blue. But
Yeah.
um, it had the patterns. Like they had the fight, it had the bite in it, and the burst wasn't that bad. So, um, fast forward to summer of 2019, where the GT anime is like the anime of 2019.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, this is it. Burst is cool. Not
Mhm.
thinking about plastic at all until later on. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was we started with Burst 2019, just picking up with I want to say the Choji starter set, the customized set, and then we just
Okay.
started picking up random layers from people at like WBO events, and then
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, the Trozy system was dope.
Yeah,
A lot of people say that too, that were involved with the older systems once they got to Burst. Because I didn't play with the older systems. Mike, you played with the plastics originally, right?
Yeah,
When you
so
were younger.
originally it was plastics. I never got to get into Metal Fight. It's the only one I didn't get to get into.
Yeah. So there's I didn't even have the plastics and stuff like that. I was bigger into Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh around that time. Um, but now that you mention it, I don't think anyone had did it. They didn't mind the metal version that much. I think they thought that was cool, because they're metal. But it's the same thing. If there is any reluctance, I think you, Nightwing, Shendog were all like they didn't like the explosion part of the Beyblade Burst. but that's kind of like all I knew, or at least what a competitor scene. So I didn't mind it as much, but it is intriguing to hear because I can definitely see like the change from you having something that's stable to something that's like breaking apart, and it's like, man, that's not going to be cool until you play it, and then you're like, okay,
Right.
yeah,
For me, it was I don't want to lose my parts.
yeah,
Like something goes out flying, then you know, gone forever. But that
and
never happened.
yeah, 100%. And shout out to you again because I have my dad collection for anyone that follows me on Instagram. I know sometimes I'll post pictures of it. The Black Dronzer, because I did end up going back and watching um, the plastic anime, and that was one of the Beyblades that I really liked. And thank you so much because BeyBladeChallenge, he hooked me up with that. He got me that Black Dronzer, and I love it. It's part of my dad's collection now. So there's any pictures you see of that, like definitely shout out to BeyBladeChallenge for getting me that.
Very
For
welcome.
getting me that. I appreciate that, man. There was something else I was about to ask you. Oh, so what is you don't play in WBO like that, do you? What is you have your own tournaments or your own tournament style?
So I am an organizer with the WBO.
Mm-hmm.
I am very busy with my job. I'm on call like about 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I also commission paint Warhammer
Mm-hmm.
miniatures. So right now, my apartment is filled with about 400 miniatures that I'm painting at the moment, but next
Oh,
to my own two armies that I have yet to touch. So my hours are very, very limited. Um,
yeah.
but I do try to organize. I did before COVID, and I
Yeah.
had big numbers. New Jersey has a very big Beyblade community, um, but there's a lot of work involved with organizing,
It is.
both post and pre-tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, all right, I'll do it here and there. If I feel like it, I'll do it. But the way how they play Burst, I'm not very happy with it.
Yeah.
I like the way how the Japanese play it. These are the rules. Nope.
Yeah.
I don't have to try. I don't have to
Yeah.
guess.
A hundred percent. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
But I do. I do like the idea of hosting older formats like HMS and plastic because, as you can see from our YouTube channel, we are in love with older formats. It doesn't get a lot of light, so there are a few people who do the work of displaying plastic gen, and I like
Mhm.
partaking in that versus like is oversaturated.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a lot. It's the longest running season. It's finally coming to a close, and
Mhm.
then hopefully the next generation. Hopefully it'll be out next year. We'll see how it goes. But on that, I guess we could jump into that topic because we've been discussing it a lot on the show as far as the rules, WBO versus WBBA. There's some topics I want to discuss with that.
Oh, I
We
look
had a
at it.
comp. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just want to say like Max and I we do lurk in the WBO. We are like we know what's going on. It's just
Hmm.
they're getting close. They're getting there.
Yeah, they're making minor adjustments. It's slowly but surely. Things I think lately, I would say for the past 6 months, there's been a lot of big changes, and the changes are
Mhm.
happening a lot faster than they have for the past. It's almost been 3 years since I've been involved with the WBO. Yeah, actually 3 years to date because it was around this time that I started looking into the WBO for Beyblade tournaments. It was the November or December of 2019, and we started the store in 2020.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's some things are changing more than because there was good year, 2 years when I got up there and I was asking for stuff or seeing stuff and nothing was going on. But then this recent year, the new formats have changed. We got the new formats in different stadiums that we're able to play in as far as rank goes. Rumors as far as a rank reset, which needed to happen quite a long time ago. Um, and I don't know, people. I think one of the things that I think that helped it to change too was that a lot of us, like older players, dads or people in their 30s and stuff, are getting way more involved in the WBO. So it's not just little kids that are competing anymore, or little kids that just want to get involved. We want a little bit more structure and involvement
Mhm.
with it, to have it as a organization. Which I can't remember who made this comment, but shout out to you, because I know I wanted to mention it. I was bringing it out for a good time. It was a podcast like 2 or 3 podcasts ago. I'm not sure, but they made a comment that the WBO with the rule sets, it seems more like it's community based instead of organizational based. And I wanted to speak on that because the community is great. But when you do have the rule sets and the structure to have it more uniformed, the community, it seems like when you have community rules, it's like, okay, this group of people are doing these things and adjusting the rules these way. This group of people like are doing their things their own way. Like, let's say Maryland implements a little rule to help them, and North Carolina does something, Canada does something a little bit different, and it's not uniform to just be one straight, rule set for everyone, even though it's supposed to be. There's so many what's the word, Mike, is so many contradictions, I guess, within the rule book itself. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah, contradictions within the rule book itself. And then it's like um regions or whatever speak about a rule or want to get a rule because of something that's going on in their region and may benefit them instead of benefiting the organization as a whole, or really just focused on that. But I think a lot of that stuff is changing because we're being more vocal now, and hopefully it can get to the point to where it is more uniform and organized instead of just
Well, they need
all
to
the chaos.
they need to do exactly the proposal I recently did, where I consolidated all the rule books into, you have one rule book structure, and then for all the formats you have, like Metal Fight, Burst, like all of their different formats are on a separate thing. Like, so then all the base rules of the game are the same all around.
Yeah,
Like, the base rules of the game shouldn't change. Like,
yeah,
Beyblade is Beyblade. Like, you're playing Beyblade. It doesn't matter whether you're playing Plastics, HMS, Burst. The only difference is Burst, the Beyblades explode. Like, when they
yeah,
explode, you get 2 points. Everything else is 1 point. Why
yeah,
not? It's not hard.
yeah. And Rob, because you play a lot of 5G. Matter of fact, when I started the FGC, I forgot about this until now. I think I had reached out to you as far
Mhm.
as hosting my first tournament. I don't even know if I was a WBO organizer at the point. I may have been or may not have been. Um, but yeah, you told me about 5G, and I didn't even know what it was. And then I asked you about it, and you explained it to me, and that's where I built like I was taking those rule set and that mindset to build the FGC when I wanted to get it running. How much? What are some of the things you like about that format? And it could be as opposed to the way WBO does things, or just like why it intrigues you so much.
Well, one, just because those are the rules that have been displayed. Like,
From the
it,
manufacturer.
yeah, it's 2 points knockout, 2 points out. Sorry, 1 point outspin, 2 points KO for plastic, and then for everything else, it's 1 point outspin, 2 point KO, 2 point burst. When we're talking about burst, uh, that puts a lot of stress on the game when you're playing 5Gs. When you have 5 Beyblades, no repeating parts, minus your dashes and medals and whatnot. Um, when you only have 3 points to amongst 5 Beyblades, and then it's 10 with you and your opponent, anything can happen. You can play 2 spins, and that's your match.
Mm-hmm.
That's intense. You can play 4 spins. It could be 4 outspins and then a burst, and hey, that's amongst you and your opponent. It's high intensity. It's very dramatic. And them's the rules. That's that. At the end of the day, that's it. For me as well, it makes tournaments fly by so much faster.
Yeah,
I thought it did. Like thinking about how 5G plays, it's got to be so much faster.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to knock on anybody who plays a game differently, because at the end of the day, we're spinning tops. That's what we like, and that's what we want to keep going.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
but when there's 25 people, maybe 35 people, or when you have a giant event, 100 plus people, and there are moms and dads who are like, "Oh, we're going to do this little Beyblade event, and we'll be done in like 20 minutes," and it's like 6 hours later,
Yeah.
and Junior just wants to watch Beyblade spin. Hey, we gotta go. We gotta be considerate of the rest of the community, which are the moms, dads, and the adults who have stuff to do after Beyblade.
Yeah.
Um, it's just polite, in my opinion. So that's another reason why I like it. When you watch the Japanese play, events go by like that, and with the WBO, we can have an event every 4 hours because the events can go by faster,
Yeah.
and that means you can have every flavor of event, HMS, classic, first classic, whatever you want. It's just easier.
Yeah. That is true. I agree with that. I ran into the last tournament I hosted. It ran so long, and
Mhm.
and I do apologize to the parents, and I thank the parents for coming out. It's some things it is like out of my control just because of how
Yeah.
the rule sets are, and it depends. Like it's not necessarily the judges. Like sometimes it comes on that, but I have great judges. But as far as everything that I had to do to run the tournament and to make sure that things are okay, um, it gets it gets a little bit tough. I do run 3G, which sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. But as far as the rules, like with certain things, it does make it a little bit weird. And then I had to pull out the rule book if something else happens that's weird because it's not as consolidated. Then I got to figure out where I need to find the rule and I end up calling a couple people. I probably call Mike every tournament. But
Mhm.
to find out, like, hey man, am I doing this right? I don't want to mess it up because last thing I want is people to be at a tournament for like 6 hours and it's not even ranked because I made some uh, silly mistake from how the rule set is. But it worked out. I don't know if y'all saw it on Instagram, but we ended up because the park ended it ran so long, the park ended up shutting down after sunset, so we had to
Yep.
host the finals in Arby's. It was fun, It
Shout out
was
to Arby's.
shout out to Arby's. It was a little bit embarrassing for me, but everyone was cool with it. Like the parents, like the dads, they and the moms, they still came and supported, and we had fun. Bought some food for everyone to eat, and they had their own meals and stuff like that. And it was a good turnout. It was a fun event. But yeah, those little things, the little adjustments that we can make, makes it a whole lot more fun because we want people to come back. And like you said, it's the parents that are doing it, and they're not going to bring their kids back if they feel like it just takes too long. It's going to take
Yep.
their whole weekend. I would feel like that if I wasn't involved in Beyblade or trading card game or something. I took my son, and then it took my whole Saturday, and I'm only off on a
Yeah.
weekend. I wouldn't want to do that again. So anything we can do to help the game is extremely appreciative.
Yes. We gotta have the parents. Like, they are the ones who bring their children to the events.
Hundred
They are
percent.
part of the community as well.
Yeah. So I guess Mike, did you have any questions? I don't want to just steal from you.
No, you're good.
So this is something else I've also spoken on because there's a lot of Beyblade communities that aren't necessarily involved with the WBO.
Mhm.
And like I was saying, like with your 5G, I think New Jersey is y'all have a mint scene, like you said, like a big scene. There's no WBO tournaments posted on New Jersey, but y'all still have a lot of tournaments. What is y'all scene in y'all area like? Um, what is y'all meta like? I guess I want to know what are the guys doing up there?
Um, it's hard for me to tell. Everyone is, up here in New Jersey, it's another like geek mecca, like especially northern Jersey. We have a lot of hobby shops. Um, that's very dense here, population wise. So like, you can throw a stone, and someone's gonna like have the same interest as you hobby wise, like either a card game, a tabletop game, video game, something competitive. It's going to be played here in the tri-state area, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of it, just having the people. When it comes to the WBO tournaments, there is one person. Because Max and I went to an event. I want to say a month or two ago, in my local park. I'm like, someone's holding a tournament in my park.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. Like, I gotta get up and do it. And then
Yeah.
I think it's Mr. Creeps. If I may be saying the name wrong.
Was it Mr. Memes?
Mr. Memes. There we go.
Mr. Memes. Okay.
Very nice. Very nice man. Very nice dude.
Yeah.
The meta seemed pretty much. It's very different from what I'm used to online with like Japanese metas. Like the WBO has they're still using, at the time of me saying at this event, they were still using the standard stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a thing. Yeah.
Completely missing out on the the dash. By the way, it's amazing on DB. Try it out. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, the
The
dash
dash
stadium.
stadium, the blue one.
Yeah.
I love that stadium.
Play DB on that. It's nice. And it reminds me of the older stadiums from older formats. But I'm kind of getting off. So
No, you're good. You're good.
So with that said, about the standard stadium, you see a lot of rubber attack types.
Right.
Jolt, Extreme, Exceed, Metal, Extend, or whatever it is. I don't use them. I tell you right now, I don't use them. So I couldn't tell you all the names. But I see them and I recognize them. I go, all right, cool. Like, either you kill yourself or you knock me out. Pretty simple. Which is wild, because we have all these other like stamina type drivers, and then new stamina type drivers. I'm like, why aren't you guys using bearing dash? Or why is your format, like your deck, not all of the bearings and the stamina drivers besides high extend? It's wild to me to see that. Like, it's what I'm so used to is everyone's playing these the stamina games, because at the end of the game, this is a stamina game. Who can last longest?
That's the idea of a top. That's what a spinning top game is.
Yeah, but then you forget that there's now a stadium and holes in the pockets and the ability to burst. It's more than just tops now. So it was fun seeing the rubber attacks dominate the scene. But when you see someone like myself or Max playing quite defensively, like, oh, like, why is that a thing? Like, what do you mean, why is that a thing? It's winning. Like, why is your Dynamite using Kerbeus with Drift? Because it wins? Oh, why not just use a rubber attacker and knock it out? It's like, no, look, I absorb the attacks and I last. It wins. Like, this is the number one Beyblade in the meta for sure. And you guys aren't playing it? That's weird.
You're talking bearing drift, or
no, just
regular drift?
Regular drift. Just regular drift. Okay. With Dynamite. Fully, with the F gear and using the Kerbeus chip.
Okay.
Is very powerful. You can use any free spinning driver and it's gonna win.
Yeah, like, I don't generally use regular drift against other stamina. I'll use bearing dash, bearing drift, high extend plus. Those are the general ones that I'll use. Regular drift, just like when I launch it, like in the standard stadium, at least. In the standard stadium, it wigs out too much for me.
It's wild. I was playing with a friend of mine who's just getting into burst, and she's like, "Wow, the smaller stadium is almost like too small to use the like the free spinning drivers, because they might spin out." knock themselves out. Nah, you'd be high. Just go for the center. You'd be fine. How do you guys like the DB Stadium now that it's part of the meta?
I've liked the DB Stadium from the start. I pushed for that.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had it was a work call. I completely missed everything, but y'all can continue to carry on. My bad. I didn't know if y'all calling for me.
All good.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as the DB Stadium goes, like I proposed. Well, what was it, James? I think we did it like 6-7 months ago or whatever, back in August or no, April. I think that's what it was. I think it was like April. I did a big proposal, and in my proposal, I said let the DB Stadium be optional to use, and a bunch of people had a fit about it. It was unreal for me. I don't know why they all had a fit. They were just like, no, because attack can't be used in it.
Yeah. So I've heard that canard way too often because people think attack type means rubber.
They think it means rubber flat, correct?
Yeah, and that's not it.
And
Yeah.
my response to them was, you can still make Beyblades. That's purpose is to KO them. That is the purpose of an attack type. The purpose is to KO the other Beyblade. Use, Atomic Dash. That does pretty good with that.
Yeah.
But you can also do guilty and rage in a deck.
Yeah.
Give rage the 4D because or 4A whatever.
Yeah.
And give them metal bearing. Metal bearing.
Metal drift.
Yeah, metal drift.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot you can do, and it's just like people thinking that they can't do it is just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, like throw out those rubber drivers and try it. Try it out.
Yeah.
Try it.
It's that fear of change or the fear of the unknown. I think that's always been the thing, and people not it's experimenting and getting away from the comfort zone of what we've been playing for the past 6 years or whatever. I know it's something different, but I mean it's one of the things. It's got to change.
Well, that's just what it is. It's they're scared that, I mean, I understand it. A lot of them are like, well, I spent all this time practicing with a rubber flat to have my launch down perfect and this and that, and then you just take it away from me. Well, I'm sorry, that's the evolution of the game.
Yeah.
Like the game has evolved. I mean, okay, you complain that the Beyblades are too big for the standard stadium, so they give us an all new stadium for the bigger Beyblades, but because it's not the same as a standard stadium, you don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is how it is. We have the option to do the transition now, which I am thankful for that. But I think it'll be fun, and because one thing I have seen is just with the consistency, you'll have the same just small group of players like within any community, like 5 to 10 or whoever, that will continuously keep coming. Before the new players, like it's not as intriguing. I've had a lot of people ask, like, why aren't we playing in the DP Stadium? Especially like the newer people coming, and it's like, why are we using the older one? And when I was at a gaming convention, and I had the standard stadium and the DB Stadium, and a lot of people, they weren't a part of WBO or didn't even know about tournaments and stuff. But every single one of them, when I would want to battle them or if they wanted to battle, they always choose the DB Stadium, the bigger one, the nice one, that or the Dash Stadium, which I haven't played in that one too much, but I have been using Attack more, so it would be fun. It would be fun to use it.
So, Rob, when you guys host tournaments and you guys play WBBA generally,
yeah. So I've only had a very small amount of events,
right?
But when we do, it's here just very easy, standard to card Tomy rules.
So do you guys do the rule of like you can't switch Beyblades between rounds? You basically register a deck in a sense.
Yes.
Okay.
I love the idea of registering.
I was going to say, how do you feel about that?
So I come from So my background in gaming is mostly TCGs, and
Same as mine.
as a young teenager, I would go to many Yu-Gi-Oh events outside of the state. So I'm used to registering a deck and not making changes. Or when you go to your local game and you play your deck and you don't make changes in between rounds, even though you lost or you won or you came against a different matchup and you want to make a change just in case you come across it again. Those are things that are not allowed in TCGs.
Right.
So why not do that with every other thing that's competitive?
Right.
It saves you the player time because you've registered your deck, you have the parts that you need to play with, and you don't need to second guess. You've made up your mind.
Well, that was like Zector had made a proposal for that for having it to where we had to register our Beyblades and whatnot before we played, and a lot of people blew up on how much they hated it.
What happened with that? I haven't seen that.
Because it's also a testament of skill. Because
correct.
Oh, I lost last round with this. I'm gonna go ahead and use this other driver. You should have played that last time. You should have you do all this practicing, and now you got washed out in pools round one, and you're upset because what? You got bodied. Wait for next week. Try again. Don't get mad. It's just a game. Just be cool. Be normal.
Well, that was like mine and Zector's main argument towards everyone was I spend a lot of time practicing with Beyblades and messing with the parts and finding new combos and stuff that I find, oh, this is actually really good, and I don't see anyone else playing it.
Mm-hmm.
I take it to a tournament, I start playing with it. Midway through the tournament, everybody at the tournament's now using my combo.
Yeah.
If we had to register decks, well, my combo that's doing so good, I get rewarded for it. I get rewarded for my time instead of Joe Schmidt getting rewarded for my time.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's very upsetting.
I think I would like to see that in 5G or 3G. I don't know about 1v1 because I feel like not even the fact that you're stuck with just one thing, I could just see everyone running the same combo after some time. 5G, I think it'll be fun. And I think it's easier because I think if you're registering your deck, you let people get there early enough, you don't even have to worry about checking to make sure people have legitimate parts or not running the same parts because that part of it is already knocked out. That's why the first round takes so long because people show up with fake Beyblades or they double parts or something like that. And after the first round, you're kind of okay. But yeah, I think that is honestly, and this is gonna sound super nerdy of me, but I don't care. It's and it's more like the anime. Even though you don't have your single Beyblade, your deck is specific to you. You could play it right. If you've mastered it, I could see that. It is super rewarding. It's like you said, Mike. It's like, hey, you put that time in for that. You got your deck the way that you wanted, and you go and you win, and it's like, man, can't nobody see me, for that day. That's a good feeling.
I mean, not to mention, that'll show skill in players when, okay, for the past 3 weeks I've been playing this deck, and now people are starting to copy it. So now I make a whole different deck to beat that deck, and then everyone's registering with that first deck, and I come in and sweep them.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, 5G, like I've said before, a lot like 3G, it's luck of the draw sometimes. If they put their order, better than yours or what can counter yours, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. That's just the luck.
Yeah. I see strategy in that sometimes too.
There is strategy in it sometimes.
Yeah, I think maybe for that first matchup, no. But if I know what you're playing, not by like just scouting in to see, but if you've been running the same deck and I still have my same deck or this and that, and I would try to at least organize mine in some type of way, and I'm sure you'd be doing the same thing. And that's to me, that's what makes it fun. It's like that competitive strategy. That's what made me fall in love with Beyblade because it wasn't just let me throw this Beyblade into let me just throw the spinning top into here and just see what happens. You know, it's methodical. Yeah, that would be dope. So what happened with that proposal though? When did that come up?
Zectors.
Yeah.
That was like a month or two ago, and
Okay.
I mean it just blew up, and unfortunately, like after a while of so many people just like dogging it, Zector just gave up. He wasn't going to argue with anyone anymore, and I don't blame him. That's how I felt about my proposal after a while. Just people argued just to argue.
Let me ask you this: was it a lot of different people, or was it just like three people?
Mostly the same people than normal. You know, from
Okay.
normal.
Yeah.
That's the only unfortunate thing about the WBO, I will say, is you have a small group of people. Like, say, I don't know how many people we have on the WBO, but let's just say we had, 2,000 people on the WBO. You have the same small group of like a max of 20 people that just get upset at every single rule change and they throw a fit, while the other, you know, 1,000, 980 people, they don't care. They're just like,
Yeah.
whatever you guys say to do, we'll do.
Yeah.
And that's the way it should be. That's why Takara Tomy is like, hey guys, these are the rules, and no one in Japan or Singapore or anywhere argues with them. They're just like, okay,
Yeah.
I mean, these are the rules. You got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty. I didn't know he had a proposal. That's one thing I missed. I'm not on the WBO as much as I used to be. I will admit that, but it is cool, and it is cool. Honestly, I didn't even know the WBBA. Actually, yes, I do. I watch Papa Bates shows. I know they register because they got to come in. He has his in like a plastic bag, or something like that. Whenever because you register it, and then it has to come up sealed or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah.
At least that's how it looks to me.
Yeah. So, like, after you're done each match, you rearrange the bays in whatever order you want, and then you seal it so that way then you can't change it. Because I don't think they allow it where like when you come up and see your opponent, you adjust your bays. It's you have to make your bay assignment before you even know who your next opponent is. I'm guessing.
I can see people arguing with that, but I think at the end of the day, man, when you come to play, like you just come to play.
Mhm.
You know, you just come to play, and that's another thing I've noticed because we're reluctant on the rule changes, and I don't understand why. Because people, there's no big organization. I mean, we have the WBO, but the Hasbro Takara isn't running these tournaments. Like the WBO is all we have, and people just want to pay Beyblades, and they can't just. It's not so common that there's a tournament every day of the week or a tournament every weekend. That's why people are driving like 6, 7 hours, 12 hours to go to the nearest tournament or whatever. They're not as concerned about the rules, but it does suck when they drop that whole time and then the rules end up making the game suck. So they're
Yeah.
like, then they don't want to come back. But if they drove all that time and it made it easier, as far as just running the tournament and running the event, like just straightforward, um, they'll come back and they'll have more, or shoot, they'll just start hosting in their local area. But we'll see. I do think there's going to be a lot of great changes though, in the very near future because with bursts ending, the releases and things are going to slow down. It should give some time for the rules to get set in stone, some simplicity to come. The tournaments, um, they should be able to come and be set legit and everything like that. But hopefully that works out. I don't know for sure.
Well, the one good thing that I can say is if you ever notice, like, because I pay attention to a lot of the tournaments that get put up, and if you notice, Canada has been doing a lot of 5G.
Yeah,
And normally when Canada starts doing something a lot, it ends up becoming a format or a change or something. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing 5G coming to a WBO ranked format soon,
yeah.
which will be good because then that's all I'll host.
5G,
Yep.
and they threw away the. You don't think they're going to bring back up the registered deck thing, do you?
I don't know. I don't know if that was ever a part of it for them. Like I don't know if they registered the decks for the 5G things in Canada. I'd have to check. I don't know if it says it or not. So I don't know if they would have that as part of it when they allow the format. They might just call it 5G instead of it being WBBA 5G.
Yeah. I
So
I could see that eliminating so many rules, and like you said, Rob, it would be the tournament would go by quickly. You come in, you have your 5 Beyblades, you're not waiting on anybody to, you're not waiting 10, 15 minutes for somebody to show up to the stadium, even though they're not supposed to take that long to show up to the stadium because they're trying to look for the perfect counter for their opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Not worried about the fake parts and stuff like that because they already got them. Um, man, you're not worried about anybody trying to hardcore scout somebody else's deck
the
to
the
make some.
the only thing about WBBA and their rules, which makes it harder for WBO because because the community is still relatively small.
Yeah,
Like everyone wants to play, but in WBBA they have designated judges and stuff that do not play while a tournament is happening. They just judge.
yeah,
And that's the only thing I see being the main issue with the like having that kind of tournament.
yeah. I can I can see that though. Like I understand why WBBA does that because they are so big and you don't want anybody trying to rig it. We're
Right.
way too small over here. And we talked about this before. The only way we're going to have these tournaments is if the organizers are able to play, because that's the only reason why we're doing it. We're not getting paid or anything like that. Um,
Granted, granted, I can say if players have to register their deck and a judge judges a match, they can't go to their deck now and make a perfect counter to you.
yeah, 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 that is a thing. Because their deck's already registered, so that it's not like they could just watch the matches and know what to use against you because they've seen it.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But that is, I guess, to bring up on another topic. As far as like big events or big hosted events, was the only tournament that you came to. Yeah, the only time I saw you at a tournament, I guess I seen you in person was the FGC tournament, right? You haven't been to any of the circuit events, have you, Rob?
No.
Yeah. So we're trying to do something. Man, is that did man, I don't want to leak anything before it's supposed to be announced. Has Conch said anything on Conte said anything on WBO about what he's trying to do?
No.
Okay. I don't want to speak on it. I'll wait for him. Sorry, listeners. We do have some good and great news coming out, but I'll save it. I guess for the main gist of it, we are working together, like a lot of dads, a lot of adults, to do something big for North America, in the Beyblade community. Something as far as for the competitive scene to get people more involved, to have something very organized and structured for the community to be able to play and to have an end goal. Because right now we're all just kind of playing just to play for either WBO points or things like that, which is fun. You know, people want to come out and have fun. But it'd be great if you were like a big champion, like a national champion or a world champion or something like that. Um, yeah, that's what I had on that. Yeah, yeah. Did you did you have anything for us, Rob? You have any questions for
Yeah,
us or
yeah.
anything? Yeah.
So how do you feel about older formats within like the community? I playing them, your interactions with them, uh, finding them. Like, how do you do you enjoy older formats?
You want to go first, Mike?
Sure, why not? Okay, so as being someone that started out playing Beyblade when I was younger for plastics, I thought, the idea of maybe playing plastics or anything would be fun. But then, of course, I looked at things, and me looking at things now as an adult and as a organizer, my biggest goal through everything is to grow the community and get it bigger. And I realized from seeing at like Metal Fight tournaments, Burst Classic tournaments, and stuff like that, that they're not that big. You don't get a super huge following, and you don't get a lot of newer players coming in and joining the community through those tournaments.
Mhm.
So that is my biggest issue with those. I don't mind playing Metal Fight here and there, Metal Fight Limited, because I have stuff for that. But at the same time, when I go to those tournaments, like, I don't care about the ranking for them. I don't see it as a real ranking because it's not the standard. Like, when you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't play GOAT format and get ranking or points or anything for the World Championship tournament. You only get that through playing whatever the current meta is. And I feel the same way about Beyblade. Whatever the current system, standard, format, meta is, that is all we should have ranked. And everything else should be for fun formats.
Yeah.
Like that's what I think the WBO needs to be is, instead of being the WBO, it needs to be WBBA plus. Basically, hey, we're just the same as WBBA, but we allow you to host tournaments as these other formats for fun. Because that can allow those communities to still play and have fun, but you're still doing the same thing as the WBBA. All your rankings is based on the current stuff. Like, I don't like in the ranking system that people go and play Classic and they get points for Classic and they don't play Standard at all. Like,
That's
Classic
weird.
is Classic is not the meta. Like, you're not going to go to a Standard tournament with your Classic Beyblades and win. You're going to get stomped. You're going to get burst like 4 times over, and the opponent's going to walk away with like 8 points after 2 matches. Like,
Yeah.
it's just how it is. That's the reality of it. Like, if we're going to have a ranking system on the WBO, I don't think older formats need to be a part of it. Now, I would love to go to, old format tournaments and play for fun every once in a while, but I don't know. I just feel like when you have them as ranked, it means less. Like, those formats just mean less to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you good, Mike?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I agree with Mike. I think I'm not as concerned on the aspect of rank, but I do think about, as far as the growth of the game, I think the emphasis needs to be on the newest generation, and that is more because of the kids and the people getting involved now.
Yep.
Like, if I got involved with Beyblade right now, and only thing that was being hosted in my area were the older generations, because they can get expensive, and plus they're also, sometimes they're difficult to find, especially if it's on a competitive level. um, it was tougher than to, even if I didn't have access to Karatomi, I could still go to Walmart or Target and get some Hasbro burst base. I wouldn't do well in tournament as well in tournament, but I would still have something that I can compete within that system. But as far as like the fun goes, I do want to play the older formats. I just don't have uh, a lot of the stuff, and I don't have a lot of the knowledge. And a lot of my focus has been on um, the the progression of it, because I haven't. This hasn't happened to me because I only host burst tournaments, but I have seen it or heard of it to where they will have a classic tournament like in Maryland, or they'll do a metal fight tournament in Maryland or something like that. But when people are looking up Beyblade tournaments, like me as a dad, if this was, I just bought my kids some Beyblades, and I look up Beyblade tournaments, and then I come across the WBO, I show up, they're like, "Oh, make sure you review the rule book." I ain't doing that, Like I might look at it for a little bit, but I'm like, it's Beyblades. They'll explain it when we get there, and then, or even if I do review the rule book, did I review the right system? I don't know, because I just got involved with this. and then I show up and then I can't play. That's kind of
That
that
is
is tough.
actually an issue we have had here.
Yeah.
It's people showing up for a Metal Fight tournament or a Burst Classic tournament, and they have stuff that they cannot use, and the parents are like, "What do you mean my child can't play?"
Yeah.
And
And
it is like frustrating
yeah.
and heartbreaking to have to explain to this little kid, "Hey, you can't play, buddy."
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, for me personally, I want to play the older formats, but I think for the community growth as a whole, or the organization growth as a whole, Burst needs to be the primary focus. And I'm not saying it because I'm on Burst bandwagon. Once the new system comes out and kids are on that,
Yeah,
that
Burst
needs
is
to be the
out.
primary. Yeah, that needs to be the primary focus. And because I'm still gonna play Burst because I have Burst, but as far as like when I'm hosting tournaments, I still probably will host Burst because I have that and I know the community here has that. But my bigger focus will be whatever's new because I know that's what's going to get the people to come and play.
And the kids are going to
Of
buy
course,
the
of
new
course.
stuff anyway. So
Yeah.
because they can buy it. Whatever is out right now, they can buy. Think about it. 2 years from now, say the new mechanic or the new system comes out in a few months. 2 years from now, you're not going to want to host Burst at all because all the new players that are showing up don't have Burst.
Yeah. Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah. But that's with the older systems, I collect because I think they're cool. Like I have a lot of El Dragos. I don't have that many plastics. Huh?
James, you want to be able to go to a Metal Fight tournament and not worry about the ranking, so you can just be like, "Go El Drago."
Yeah.
You
I
just
mean,
want to have fun at the tournament.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like I have I don't think I would worry about the rank. I know I said this before. Like I don't. It's not that I completely do not care about the ranking. Like it does matter to me. But I do want to. I want to enjoy myself because I found myself at one point getting a little bit too stressed to the point that I was like more concerned about the competition of Beyblade to where I wasn't enjoying it. And recently with these tournaments, that's what got me to play Attack. And man, I swear, like these last few tournaments, I've had so much more fun. I haven't made the finals, I think, in the last 2 or 3 tournaments that I've hosted, but I've had a whole lot more fun with trying these things and meeting other people that want to be creative. With using things that they like. And that's why, even when y'all were talking about the deck thing from WBBA, I would love to do that. I would love to have my own deck and it's registered and I come in there to see how well I can do for me, like personally, because that's fun. But yeah.
Did I tell you what happened at the circuit Andy hosted?
Mm-mm.
So I barely ever use Attack. Well, this time around I decided, I started practicing with Attack and I took it. And in the top 4, I had to play Fried Pasta. And when we looked at each other's deck, he saw the rubber flat guilty in there, and it was like his brain malfunctioned because he's like, Crisis Crusher's playing Attack. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you only use stamina mainly.
And I got 3 out of my 5 points with guilty.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's fun when you try it like that. Rob, I want to ask you the same question. I know you love the older systems. I hope it didn't sound like we were bashing them.
No.
Yeah.
I completely understand what you were saying. I completely agree with your sentiments.
Yeah. But what is your outtake on it with the, I guess overall? Well, same question to you, I guess.
Well, for me, I guess I should have been more clear when I asked. As hobbyists, it's how do you enjoy older formats?
Yeah.
But you also like hit a nail on the head about current formats and children growing up today who are going to pick up March's new product. They have already forgotten about Burst. Their eyes are on March. Like March is coming up soon, and Burst is dead. So
I was gonna say, we are probably the worst people to ask also for the older formats because neither one of us play them. So I haven't even. But as far as it, were you asking in terms of like which is the most fun, like burst versus metal fight?
I guess it was more like
We enjoy them.
yeah. Do you
Oh.
enjoy them as hobbyists? Do you enjoy them? Do you collect them? Do you? What are your thoughts on battling with older Beyblades? Because as you can see, like they have the longevity.
Yes.
Most of them do.
So
Stuff like that. But go ahead, Chris.
yeah, I would say as a hobbyist and as a collector. So from the plastic gen, and y'all don't hate me and listeners don't hate me either. I only am interested in collecting those and only a few. Like I said, like the Black Dronzer, there's a couple other ones that I think I want, but not as much. Metal Fight, I was more man, Ryuga is my dude, man. He really is, man. I got love for that guy. So it's like the El Drago is like that's my thing. I do want to battle with my Metal Fight El Dragos. I don't care if I win or lose. I just want to use it. I want to do something cool with it. And that is fun. I have played with my kids with Metal Fight. And it's probably with the plastics also. I only have one plastic and I don't want to battle that because if something happens to it, I'm gonna be sad. I'm not gonna lie. You know, that's just my collectors.
Yeah, if it's Black Dronzer that's on the Dronzer F layer or attack ring, I want to battle with it. That attack ring is prone to breaking.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't. That is solely for the dad collection. I would like to see it because I know you recommended it to me. I would like to see it and to see how it goes. But as far as what I really want to battle with, it's Metal Fight, and I'm not worried about the meta. I don't care about doing really well. I just want to feel like Ryuga, I guess, for a little bit and spend my El Drago in there. I'll bring in 3 different ones, and just play with those, or 5 different ones, depending on what format we have. Yep.
Yeah. I think for me, I like the old formats and would love to play them more. But I think because I've gotten into competitive, I wouldn't want to play them as much.
Yeah.
For the simple fact of I'm gonna then take my childhood and stuff that I like from my childhood, like Dronzer's my favorite. I would want to go in with my Dronzer GT and just use that stock the entire time, yelling "Go Dronzer."
Yeah.
But the minute I start playing enough, and people are using competitive plastic combos and stuff, I'm gonna want to go to making competitive plastic combos and competitive metal fight combos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I would just say I wouldn't really enjoy playing them as much as I would hope to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think now, and I know it's because my mind has changed from these last tournaments, like this last, I think at the Dark Continent, my competitiveness with Beyblade is still there. I'm still competitive. I want to win. But I've been more inclined to, let me say this, because what you said about the childhood thing, when I first started playing Burst, I wanted to get a single Beyblade because that's when they had 1v1 and before I've been to a tournament. I wanted a single cool Beyblade that was my own. And I had a combo of, and this is before I really knew what the meta was or even that Beyblade had a meta. I had Dread Bahamut on, I can't remember the disc, but in Octa. That was my combo. And I planned on going and sweeping tournaments with it. I had no clue that it wasn't going to be that great. But as I started playing more, the thing happened that you said, Mike. I started getting more involved into I need to adapt to the meta because I want to win. But recently, my combos, and I'm not making the winning combos thread because I'm not winning. But I've been playing. Actually, I have been winning, but I just haven't been making it to finals. So I've been losing just as much as I've been winning. But anyways, I've been playing and having more fun with the Beyblades that I enjoy because I started getting, and it may sound bad and it's not deterring one. I started getting bored with just trying to run the meta and to counter what everyone else was using. But when I
Yeah.
started using, when I started using the attack combos, I started having more fun because I would get some KOs and I was learning a new skill. I was using parts that no one else was using and I was beating some people. I was winning on I had it was it was my guilty combo and it's on exceed plus uh Z, I think it is. Yeah, exceed plus Z. And I know that was used back with Rage, but I've been using it with Guilty. And some of my matches I was winning with outspins in opposite rotation, which wasn't supposed to happen. So it's like if I don't get the KO, I still have more stamina than what you think, and it would blow some people's mind, and I would feel good about that. And it was like, hey, I put this together, and it's something unique to me. I didn't make finals, but I still have fun. I'm gonna make finals one day using what I like, and that was fun for me. So I think I could still have fun with the older formats if I could do something with El Drago. And but if it don't work, yeah, it don't work. It's whatever.
It's very noble. It's very noble.
Yeah.
But I think everybody who plays Beyblade has that one Beyblade combo that it might not do well, but one day it's gonna get there. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
I'm coming for you.
Yeah, one day, and I'm holding on to it. I have a couple other ones that I've been using, but it's fun because Sniper, and Sniper
Yeah.
had that wedge combo that he talked about, and wedge was his thing. He holds on to wedge to this day.
Yep.
Because and I appreciate that. It's like, hey, he doesn't win every tournament, but he goes and he enjoys it. In that one tournament that he did had, he I think he said he swept it. And yeah. And Mike, let me ask, when you used that attack, like, did you enjoy it? Was it just like free for all, or?
I mean, it was pretty fun. I think the part that I just enjoyed it more was just, people like, I don't know what to do with Crisis using attack. So it just made you feel
Switching it up.
like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I do know I do, and I have a fit when I can't do it when I'm making competitive combos. I try to take whatever parts I have and make it as color coordinated as possible, like it's coming from the anime.
Oh yeah, that's part of the power.
Yeah.
That helps you resonate with your bay.
Yeah. Man, I was super nerding out, man. When I had my Bahamut, I was looking up like the whole sea creature. I was looking at the character. I was like, man, like what's their personality like? I went full nerd for a little bit, man, and that was my bay, and that's what I was gonna use. And it was winning in my house. I don't think I ever really competed with it though, to be honest with you. I think I just started using something else. But yeah, it was fun, man. And Rob, do you use attack? Do you like attack like that, or you just whatever you feel?
I do. I love the Longinus line. Like when we play over here, in my format, it's guaranteed two Longinus. It's gonna either Rage or Guilty, accompanied by Zwei. I love Zwei. It's a beautiful piece. It may not get played. It'll be like number 5. So like hopefully, like
you don't get to it.
Yeah. Like, oh man, this for show, man. If we hit this spot,
yeah,
you did good, my friend.
Yeah. I you know what? I haven't. The GT and Chozi meta were my favorite. I haven't used Swy, but I know it was a big deal in its time. I might do that, man. I might go with triple use Swy, Rage, and Guilty. I know it's crazy, but I might do that at one of these 3v3s just for the fun of it. It is.
If you just gives Y the a Spriggan chip, you'll be all right.
Yeah, I could do that. I probably will do that for the fun of it and see how it goes. Because there's no better feeling when you pull something out and someone's highly competitive and you win with something that they haven't seen before or thought before, or something that it feels like that's never going to work. It shouldn't work, and then it like KOs them or bursts them, man, it's a good feeling. Yeah. Yeah, man. Did you have any questions? Any other questions?
Oh, I do. I myself have a Beyblade horror story.
Oh, go for it.
It's not really a horror story. It's more like I guess the moment that I guess like what moment made you realize you were in this game?
Oh
Like,
man.
yeah, I'll share
Um,
mine. When you're done.
you got one, Mike?
The moment, probably the moment I learned that it didn't matter if it said attack on the box. That was
Yeah.
probably the moment I realized I was in this game. That is actually still a running joke between me and Geetster and whatnot today. Because
Yeah.
when I first started getting into it, I was like, well, should I use this because it says it's good for attack? And he just laughed at me. He's like, just because it says attack on the box doesn't mean it's attack type.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
With me, I think as soon as I found out the strategy behind it, I think I've told this story before. My son, um, I went. It was Black Friday shopping, and he had always asked for Beyblades, and I got him some before when he was younger, but he lost them all. And as a dad, I was like, I'm not wasting any more money. But they had a sale, and I was in the Christmas spirit, so I went out and bought them. You know, I got a lot of them. This also got me into the WBO, but he was playing with my baby boy. I can't remember how old my son was. I think my baby boy was probably like 4, and my eldest was probably like 10 or so. And he was playing against his baby brother, and he was beating him bad. And sibling rivalries start arguing and yelling, and I come back there. I'm like, I'm dad. I'm gonna beat your big brother for you. And I went back there, and I had a Beyblade, and he had Archer Hercules, and we only had Hasbro. He had an Archer Hercules, and it was a Strike Force Stadium or something like that. And I launched it as hard as I could, just thinking it was all about strength. And I lost, and I kept losing, and I started getting upset. And then I started doing research, and I spent probably the next week bouncing from various Walmarts and Targets, even bookstores like Barnes and Nobles and stuff in my area, looking for Beyblades to be able to beat this Archer Hercules. I was online a lot, and that's how I got hooked. That's how I got stuck, because I found out that it was more than just how strong you are. There was so much science behind it, and I'm a nerd when it comes to that. So it was the strategy that hooked me. So it was my aggression to beat my son, I guess, that sucked me into this game.
Hey,
Yeah.
straight spite. Spite is powerful. Spite
Yeah.
is a powerful, powerful thing. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it was. It was. I was like, man, yeah. But despite, yeah, it drew me in.
For me, I know it's gonna sound weird because I'm all about my plastics. But when I was younger, when I was playing with Beyblade, the idea of a stadium never really hit my head, because like you watch the anime and everybody's first Beyblade stadium is like a pot or a pan or
Yeah.
something. But my mother had this giant marble bowl that she'd use for spaghetti and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, hey, this is big, smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and play with these spinning tops on it. And I had like a little coffee table, and I'm just sitting there playing. I'm like maybe 12, 13, something like that. And the Beyblades, like they knocked the bowl over. In my head, I'm thinking, all right, this thing, like the bowl's falling over.
Yeah.
I know like this is gonna be it for me when my mother sees her giant expensive marble bowl that us broke folk have. Like that's like half our GDP in the house, man. Like that's half our income is this marble bowl, man. So like,
Yeah.
it's I'm seeing it fall on the floor. I'm like, oh man, and it like
Yeah.
snaps in half. I'm like, oh man. And I'm thinking, all right, cool, whatever. That's a clean cut. Like as like everything's like falling. You're a teenager, you're a young boy. You're having all these stupid thoughts,
Yeah.
and like, Beyblade spinning around. You're like, man, y'all done it. Like, thanks, Beyblade. And I'm just sitting there like shocked, like, oh man, this is it. And my sister comes into the living room and she's like, hey, you're bleeding. I'm like, what? I look down and my right leg, and some of y'all may have seen this, like the slices down my legs. It's not a war. That's nothing from the war. That's from
Yeah.
Beyblade. Like the marble bowl sliced my legs
Dang.
open.
Oh man.
So, and there's blood everywhere. Um,
It's
so
like a war story though. They was battling and you had the repercussions from it. Yeah.
yeah, man. I'm like, cause like if y'all see the meme about the little boys that broke their parents' tub playing Beyblade, yeah. Because like back, in Gen 1 bays, you just have this giant forge disc in the center that's kind of like poking out that looks, it's either 8-sided or 10-sided. So it's gonna knock around and do some damage to your marble, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I look down, there's a puddle of blood everywhere, and my bays are just sitting there covered in blood. I'm like, at least it was a clean cut. But
That's how
what do
you
we
know
do about
you're in
all this
shock
blood?
though. You're completely bleeding and all you thinking about is, man, my mom might kill me.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about like how I fix this. I didn't even see the blood. I'm just thinking, I can fix this. I got
it. Yeah.
it. Decided to work. And when my mother comes by, she rushes me to the hospital. I get 9 stitches on my right shin. Like it cut my shin right in half. Like what? Like it. Like it's pretty wicked. And then there's another like 4-inch slash down my calf. At that point, I'm thinking, all right, if Beyblade can do this much damage, then I'm in. Like it's got me. It's cut me. Like like I have shed blood for this game.
Yeah, battle wounds. Yeah,
like no other game can do that for me. Yu-Gi-Oh hasn't done that. Video games haven't done that. But Beyblade did. So
yeah.
I feel like maybe that's what happened a few years ago as I'm cleaning out my closet. I probably looked down at my leg and said, "Oh man, I got a few $100 to spend on Beyblade." And here we are from plastic to metal fight to burst and going full circle back to checking out plastics. It's been a wild ride, man. I'm happy to have gotten back into it. I'm thankful for my weird brain to say, "Hey, spin some tops, man." All right, cool.
It's wild that the scar you just looked at and it reminded you like, oh man, that's it. That's where I need to be. I need to be a Beyblade with spinning tops and the marble breaking. You ain't never gonna forget that, man.
Nah.
That is a war story in some way, like people ask like, oh, what happened? It's like, oh, I'm dedicated to this game,
Yeah, all my life, my friends would say, "Hey, what's that slash?" Oh man, you ain't gonna believe me. Like I had to call my mom and say, "Hey, can you please vouch for this slice on my leg?" Yeah, he was playing those stupid Beyblades. Oh yeah, your parents will always remember the Beyblade nonsense. Don't think they won't.
Yeah. Y'all know he's dedicated to everyone listening. If you're getting cut up and sliced up, I've had like guilty and rage like prick my finger, but nothing that sent me to the hospital, and still dedicated several years later. That's commitment. Yeah, that's 100% commitment to the game. It's a pretty dope story, man. It's like it could have been trauma. It could have been like, oh, I'm done with this. I'm like never again. But sorry, I don't know if y'all heard me sneezing.
I heard you. You're going off.
Bless you.
My bad. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's dope. That's dope commitment. Yeah, we always had the fight, war stories. Mike, what'd you say, Mike? I don't know. I think the sneezing just made me have amnesia for a second.
I said bless you.
No, your origin.
Oh, just
Oh yeah,
basically
yeah,
what
yeah.
Attack on the
Not
Box.
Attack on the Box. Yeah, yeah. We all got the different origin stories, man. But we still all love it, and it's gonna grow. There's a lot I want to speak on because I'm actually like hype for what's coming. I know Beyblade Burst is ending, but I am hype at least for the competitive scene, and not only competitive scene, it's um the hobbyists and things like that too. Because I do think there are going to be some nice big changes and growth as far as this game goes very very soon. And I think the community overall, with the new generation, because like I said, I haven't been in the WBO for forever, but I feel like the WBO is at its biggest right now, um, by far. And then as long as people stay committed and focused, and once the new generation comes, it's only going to be even even bigger. I feel like I don't think people are gonna get out. I don't. I know the three of
No.
us aren't. Yeah, especially you got your legs sliced open. You're not, Mike. You're hosting tons of tournaments, staying dedicated and committed, and I feel like I'm doing the same. Um,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate everyone that's involved in this. Um, not is there any you got anything else you can ask away if you want.
Um. Oh man, I was ready for the questions on my end.
Yeah, I should have prepared better, you know. But I know what I really wanted to know. I wanted to know your origin. Um, I got your origin, the scene, your thoughts. I didn't. Oh, I didn't ask this. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the WBO? I know you talked about it like a little
Oh
bit,
man,
but yeah, what are your thoughts on the WBO? And to be
of course
brutally, brutally honest.
So for those of you who are listening and you know me, yeah, I know that I can be quite uh, energetic about my
Yeah,
thoughts on the WBO.
yeah,
I think it's a fine organization. I want to say that first. I think it's a great
hmm
organization. It takes a lot of time and effort to do this as a labor of love. My hat goes out to them. Like whatever our differences are, they have created a community that's very niche, and I'm happy to be part of it, regardless of our differences. With that said, um,
hmm
I think it has room for change because it's changed before. I think it needs to recognize that the organizers are the backbone of the WBO when it comes towards mostly everything they do, because organizing
one
is
100.
is is a is a huge responsibility to give to anybody to be the face of the WBO, and you don't have a means of vetting these people. Because you have people like me who are crazy war veterans who on the occasion will forget where they are. That's not a very good look in the
Yeah.
WBO. That's half the reason why I don't do these events too much. It's like, hey, I'm very strict but fair. I'm strict but fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, uh, it took only a few years for them to realize that maybe children who organize need adults when organizing.
Mhm.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. These are grown adults making these rules, and y'all just figured that out.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's
Yeah.
so wild. Have a
Yeah.
12, 13-year-old boy, girl out there hosting events, and you don't know who they are, what
Mhm.
kind of danger they're putting themselves in. Shame
Yeah.
on you. Shame on you for that one.
Yeah.
If you got,
That is
if I'm wrong, tell me. But I know I'm not.
no. No,
I know they don't care. They don't care.
Yeah, I agree with you on that aspect.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Nah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think those of us adults who are in the WBO I think the WBO needs to recognize there are more adults in the community who want to be active, but I'll speak for myself. I am sometimes afraid to speak up because you have people who just, go crazy at a response instead of taking their time to digest the information, going, what is this person trying to tell me?
Yeah, it's that initial response.
Yeah. Like, hey, like, if you have that crazy initial response, look at it and say, hey, my bad, flipped out. Allow me to take back what I said, and I'll retract my statement and address it normally. That's okay. We all do it. Cool. Maybe. Here's a big one I have.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes to, like, speaking up, and, like, when it comes to, like, free speech within the WBO, and that means, hey guys, let's hang out and play Beyblade. And make that as a thread. Don't shut it down. No one's saying tournament. The word tournament was not used.
Yeah.
You are hindering the growth of the WBO by telling people they cannot have a group chat or a thread that says, hey, we're going to meet up over here and play Beyblade. Because people are looking for easy access to play the game, especially new players. No one's trying to gain points or blah, blah, blah. They want to spin tops, and they don't want people telling them, you can't play because, you don't have internet access, so you can't go join.
Yeah.
Or, and I've had this conversation with Kai, and he kind of, like, didn't have a good response for it. Because it's elitist when you say you can't play because you can't log in.
Yeah.
When my homie right here is playing with me and he can log in. Oh, we'll just have him make an account for you. Yo, it's not like that. Or when we have an event as organizers, maybe ask us, do we need help? How are things going with your event? Maybe just check up on us. Because you want all the data for your post-tournament events, but you won't make sure if I made it out okay. Did any drama happen that can be squashed? Or because it happens, because you're dealing with children who are growing with hormones and whatnot.
There's drama with grown men.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But, like, we have to recognize our community, and the characteristics of that community, and say, hey, some people have problems or whatever. Be cool with them. I ain't gonna say deceased crab's name. But this is our people. We love them. We gotta watch our back. Just but as a WBO, like, be cool. Like, how can we grow if you're gonna shut down everything we say or not listen to us unless it's like a biannual conversation with, we at the WBO we believe this and this can be done, and it doesn't, or the community is at odds about points, or a ranking system that's obsolete, or just it's communication, man.
I feel like the worst feeling about the WBO is all we have is a ranking system. Like, as far as trying to play the game competitively, we have nothing other than a ranking system to try to make ourselves feel like we accomplished something. Like, we don't actually have a nationals from the staff of WBO or anything like that. Like, that is what we need, I feel. Like for
regionals.
the competitive. Yeah. Like regionals, nationals, like that is what we need. And at the end of the year, you basically get to crown somebody a national champion. We don't need points.
I wouldn't say that much. I would say we just need regional
well, yeah, a regional champion, national champion.
No, just representatives. A representative.
Yeah.
Because we have the Canadian community, pumping out tournaments, almost twice every weekend.
Yeah.
So where like here in the East Coast or here just in America, it's hard for us to like get together and do consecutive events.
Yeah.
Unless like you have a super concentrated group like the Maryland group or
Yep.
Here in the East Coast, North, the Tri-State area. It's hard to keep up with that many events when it's the same like 5 people up in Canada and the same 4 people down here can barely get together once every 2-3 months.
Yeah.
It's a little rough. I mean, the ranking system is antiquated. Number one, like change it.
Yeah.
It's old.
Yep.
Too many people are coming up here and making a fuss about it. Like, come on! Like for years, for as long as I've been playing this game with the WBO, people have complained about the ranking system, and no one has adjusted. All right, why bother playing ranked? Especially if Burst Classic can give me burst ranked points. Yeah, seems like you don't care.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and that even brings me back to that discussion I talked about before: the community versus the organization. Because I don't think, man, it's something that I really feel like I know that a lot of things don't change because specific communities or specific people don't want these changes because it's not benefiting them or their region or their area, instead of looking at the whole as an organization to be able to benefit certain things. And like we said, there are kids involved, but we have our staff, but it is the organizers we're the ones hosting these events. Like whether staff or whoever will admit it or not, it's the organizers that keep the WBO going. We have the forum, people get up there and chat and talk, but when it comes to actually playing Beyblade, which is majority of what the WBO is, and whether it's ranked or unranked, just playing in a park or whatever, the organizers do that. Like we keep people involved. It's more than them just getting on the site, talking about Beyblade for a little bit and then completely forgetting about it. They won't forget about that tournament, even when way down the line. I mean, I wasn't a big Yu-Gi-Oh player like you guys, but I still remember going to my first couple of events or my first events, the same way people will remember going to these Beyblade tournaments, and the organizers put that together. And like I said, we're not getting paid for this. Our thoughts and opinions do need to matter a whole lot more, especially, I mean, we are adults, and I'm not saying like we're adults, like we know better or anything like that, but our contribution to this and some of the things that we see or want to make changes for is a good idea versus arguing with people who are not organizers, people who have only played maybe once in the entirety of a year. And those are some of the issues that I have, and I am guilty. I don't speak up on the WBO like that anymore because I got tired of arguing. And I got tired of feeling like I wasn't being heard. And I think that's in general. It ain't even got to be Beyblade. That's anything in life. If you feel like you're putting yourself out there and nothing is happening, like whatever. Honestly, and this may sound bad, the only reason why I host WBO tournaments instead of just doing the FGC ones, because the community as a whole does care about the ranking or majority of it. So I try to do that to keep it going because I love and enjoy the game.
So
and I
weird.
love it. Huh?
I'm sorry. I just want. It's so weird how that's a thing.
Yeah.
If it's not ranked, you're wasting your time.
Yeah. I think it was I know it's the culture of it.
Well, it's like I said, like you don't feel like there's anything you accomplish if you just go to a regular tournament and play when there's a ranking system.
But the thing is, you're here to play the game first. You were like when I joined the WBO, I didn't know about ranking system. I was there looking for people to play Beyblade with.
Right, but at the same time, like if you're someone that watches like the animes or anything, what's the character's main goal? To be number one in the world. So That's what you get.
That's
Like that's
but
the feeling of the anime.
this is the real world, and that's not how it goes. Because like if that's the case, you wouldn't go to Walmart and buy your Beyblade, or go online to 4gaming.com and buy your Beyblades there using Beyblade Challenge 10 at checkout. Like that's the real world.
Yeah.
So it's
Oh
for
no,
me.
I
It's like,
know. I'm just saying that's why the rank system matters to the people,
Yeah.
because they want to see their name as number one.
I think
yeah,
there's
yeah,
yeah, I think there's one on that aspect. There's the two train of thought. There's the highly competitive and the people that just want to play. And we've had people on the show. Some of them have been highly competitive, but there's also a lot of people that just want to play. Um, Even like Shindog, he is involved with the rank. He is involved with the staff, and somebody that I really admire and appreciate. But he plays Beyblade. From what I got from me just talking to him, I don't even think he vocalizes as much, but he just plays Beyblade because he likes spinning tops. Um, he doesn't care so much about the rank, even though I know a lot of people look at him as competitive because his name is up there, but he enjoys spinning tops. But you do have other players who their main focus is the rank. And I understand that, but I guess I see both sides of it. But I think that as far as the WBO is what they're doing to cater to either side or to bring the community together, sometimes it does hurt it because it does split it when you can't promote just a tournament. Because I asked for the FGC thing, and that got pushed through so that I could just do that, but I still had to be an organizer. And I do understand some things, like if they were like, hey, like some random person was like, I'm having a tournament here, and then you have kids show up and it's not a tournament, it's just some weirdo doing some crazy stuff. I could see that. But on the other end, if it's a reputable person in the community and they're just trying to get together to play and things like that, I feel like there should be some workarounds for that.
yeah.
Especially if they're mature enough. And I'll bring up Nightwing. Nightwing had he was having his Bladers Kingdoms tournament before they were being able to be on the WBO. He has this YouTube channel. He he was hosting his tournaments. I was sharing them on Instagram and sending out newsletters about him. And when he asked on the WBO if he could do it, it was a big no. Just he had to become an organizer first, and it was a lot of loopholes and things like that for him to be able to do it, to promote it. And in that aspect, it's promoting Beyblade, but then there was the hindrance. So it's kind of like, let's play Beyblade together, but only if you're playing Beyblade the way I want you to. And that was weird. But yeah.
It's not fun. It takes the fun out of the game. Because I mean, for myself, I want to create a community, because a lot of us who play the game or discover the game will play it alone. You'll sit
Yeah.
there with mama's pot and just spin and spin and spin, and you might bump into someone 3 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I just go around and say, "Hey, Beyblade, Beyblade." I point at them, Beyblade, either yes or no. But when it comes to using the WBO as a platform to do the exact same thing, hey guys, Beyblade, 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 come over here, Beyblade, Beyblade. The answer is always no.
Yeah.
Unless you do this way. Which, hey, I understand. This is your website. These are your rules. Strict but fair. I will play your game. But then when you do play the game, it's never enough.
Yeah.
You always have to do a bit more for people who are ungrateful.
Yeah.
For people who don't care. And
Yeah.
it's a hard reality. But, that comes with it, though. But it'd be nice if we could have a little breathing room for us to say, hey, we're going to come together on Saturday morning and play Beyblade. No
Yeah.
points. Just come play. Come find your friend. Come find some like-minded people. They may not be the same age, but we all have one idea. It's spinning tops.
Yeah. I think and as we said, like even the emphasis, I'm thinking about my previous tournaments. My last tournament had the biggest turnout for the circuit. I think probably 5 or 6 people actually even knew about the rank, now that I'm thinking about it, because a lot of people signed up that day that we had issues. So as I think about it, people that want to play will come to play regardless.
Yeah.
As soon as they find it, I don't know if I just got that realization that now it's not like that with every tournament. Some they're only going to come for ranked, and I respect and I understand that, because I mean, they putting forth that effort, it does matter. I guess I don't know if it's 50-50, but there is the ones that they want to play, they want to come out and play, and then there's others that only want to play for competitive reasons. I am competitive. Recently, I have been changing to wanting to just play just to play, but I still have my competitive nature. And I guess on what you said, what I took away from it, the WBO isn't as catering to the non-competitive scene, or not non-competitive, but the non-super, I guess, competitive or whatever. I don't know.
I guess you could say non-members.
Yeah, non-members
or those who non-organizers, non-staff,
non-conformers.
No, because like if you log into the website and you have an account, you've kind of like said I agree to all the nonsense. It's more like it's easy to get shut down, and it's a shame that you don't see as much activity coming from the top down.
Yeah.
Or even a little a conversation like this. It'd be nice if the people at the WBO at the top would say, "Hey, we hear your concerns. We are part of the community as well. Here's a biannual chat." They feel like a corporation rather than a bunch of dudes and dudettes who like to play Beyblade. It just seems very weird.
Yeah.
That's just me. I could be crazy.
No, man. I appreciate you speaking your mind, you speaking your piece. That's what this show is about. Like, we discuss Beyblade. A lot of what we talk about is the WBO, because that's what we have. This show is this 4-game Beyblade discussion, but it is on the competitive scene and getting together and playing Beyblade. And what we have in North America is the WBO. We don't have the organization of the WBBA, and Hasbro, doesn't have anything for us. So how we all came together was through Beyblade, either on one of the social media platforms or this and that. And WBO is one of the bigger things that we know of. So it comes up, and it is great to hear your opinion, and all the other interviews that we have. And even when myself get together, or me, Mike, and Jared get together and have these discussions, because there's things that we could talk about that we don't have to worry about on the forum or anything, like having to type up and then things being misconstrued, or I can't say the word right, but they can hear it up here. And people can always feel free to put their comments in the bottom. I do read those whenever the notification comes, and we can address it. And a lot of the times, like the comments or emails that I get is within agreement with what we're saying. And like I said before, like, changes are happening slowly but surely. But there does need to be some major progressions. And I think with our generation, like the older generation, like, we see it, and it's kind of bummed out when you don't feel like you got heard. I mean, shoot, that's the whole reason why I don't even talk up there anymore.
Yeah. We lost a lot of adult players in the early like GT era. A lot of great players because of the nonsense.
To be honest, I hope that by the time Gen 4 gets here, we're a little more conformed with WBBA.
Mhm. Yeah.
What are your hopes? Let's lighten this up a bit. What are your hopes for Gen 4, this Beyblade universe?
For like what the bays will look like or be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like the whole. What are your hopes? Because from what I see in the advertisements, it's plastic, metal fight, and burst. That's what they're advertising.
what have you?
So
I'll let
maybe
Mike pick up because I know he's had a lot of theories with it. I have not as much. And so Mike, you can hit that question up, but I also want to know what you've seen, Rob, because I haven't really seen anything.
Well, I think he's mostly just talking about the little flyer that comes in the
Yeah.
last two releases. At the bottom corner, it shows all three previous seasons of Beyblade.
Oh,
Yeah, so I mean, one thing I would like to see, I would like to see all of the, not all of the generations combined, as in like they have all the gimmicks of all the previous stuff, but like whatever Generation 4 is, I want it to be its own system, but we're getting Dragoons, Dronzers, Valkyries, El Dragos. I want to just see them keep all of that and making like a whole, like imagine as if they were to say they made a whole new anime where the basis of the anime is, hey, the three original different series, they were animes, and this is the actual universe of Beyblade where we have all those named Beyblades and everyone can buy them, but this is a whole new system and these are all their upgrades. Like instead of it being,
yeah,
instead of it being, oh, we have, Dragoon F, but as a remake from the Plastic Gen into, a Burst Beyblade. Imagine as if they took, Dragoon, made a DB Core Dragoon, made a new blade, called it Storm Dragoon or whatever, and then a disc and a driver that was for it, and bam. You got a DB Dragoon Beyblade. That's what I would want to see Gen 4 be. All of that stuff put back together, and then it would just be cool if they can just continue it.
yeah,
You like if they're just like, hey, look, this is a system that we've come to balance out, and we think we could just constantly use it, and maybe we never have to have a Gen 5. Just Gen 4 keeps upgrading. But one thing I want them to do as consistent as they can, please don't make the Beyblades start out one size and then next thing you know they're all bigger. Because then you get this stadium problem that we had where the stadium's too small. Metal Fight did really well with not having that issue.
Mhm.
And I really like that. I think that is something I would like to see. Um I think as far as if they were going to take different aspects from each generation, I mean, I don't know, other than the burst mechanic, the only other mechanic I can see them taking from burst is the high-low mode. That's like something from DB that I think is really cool and innovative, and I really like it. But at the same line, that just runs into the same thing as spin track height from Metal Fight. I think that's a really cool thing, and it really messes with how Beyblades work. And then from like the plastic slash HMS gen, I think every Beyblade should just be dual spin.
Yeah.
mhm,
Like, like in all reality, if you think about tops, spinning tops, if you wind the string one way and throw it, it spins left. If you wind the string the other way and throw it, it spins right. Like it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
yeah.
Tops should be able to go both directions. I think that's what I would like to see.
I my hopes. I I don't want to sound like I'm just piggybacking. I kind of want to get. I know that. Well, I imagine they're getting rid of the burst gimmick because I want to get away from that. And I guess it goes back to your question earlier because I am hype about playing Metal Fight, but I am hype on what Mike said. If they had a new generation and it came out and it was like Metal Fight or whatever, like the plastics, so where it wasn't bursting, but they were the same size as like the new DB bays or whatever, and then they brought back. I don't know. I want an upgrade of El Drago that is modern and cool for the new system. I guess that's all I really want to say, or that's what I'm hoping for. I just want a new cool Beyblade that works. That is like Bright Goose Beyblade. They bring it back because that'll keep me intrigued with the game. That'll keep me having fun and to be consistent with it for new generations. Not new generations, but for the time now going forward. I think that'll be a whole lot of fun. Not to get too far away from what we had in the past, but to have something simple and straightforward that just works. It's just fun.
I will say from what I have come to learn, the creator from Metal Fight is working for Gen 4.
Oh, okay.
So it's possible to be more closer to Metal Fight, but I mean that's just what people think just because he worked on Metal Fight. Just because he worked on Metal Fight does not mean it will be Metal Fight.
Right.
Yeah.
You
What
know?
were you thinking? What you seen, Rob? Or what do you?
So like I'm looking at the flyer right now, right, and I see the 3 logos, and I'm thinking it could be a fusion of the 3. It could be a Beyblade universe, like with the anime characters. It could be a universal Beyblade system. Hopefully, burst is removed. It's cool, but I think is tired. It's cool, but it's played out now.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like burnt out.
A burst.
Of maybe just like burnt out of buying Beyblade because there's always like an announcement after I crack open a box that comes from y'all. Like the moment I get my package from you, I spin my top a few times, and the next day I go online and the Japanese are reviewing the next leak.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I could just use a break from buying Beyblade. And also, like from what I'm looking at, when you look at the beginning of every Beyblade generation, it's never like the power creep isn't until way later. So you can like wait on it and pick it up later when everything's like out, like the first wave of like bays or characters or whoever. Maybe, and this is going crazy out here. Maybe this whole new Beyblade system will be more customizable than normal. Like you can make your own Beyblade finally.
All like full customization.
Yeah,
So
kind of like what we had to burst, but like
yeah,
this is mine now. Like this is my like you can really pull the parts apart, like the layers apart, and say, hey, I got the layer from Rage, for instance, and let's say you can mix Valkyrie and Longinus.
yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
With the last
like a fusion, Beyblade fusion. There we go.
Yeah, but shoot, that might be what it's called. Well, like with the last DX set, how everything was just like compatible, and you could, because the creativity with that could be limitless, and like there's a meta. I'm sure there will always be, but to have options like that could definitely shake things up. I wanted to because I just got track of time. We've been up here for quite some time. Not to cut you short, but did y'all have any last things, any last shout outs?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody who watches. All 2 of y'all. I know I speak for myself. I know I speak. I'm speaking for myself here, but I think Max would agree when I say this. We are very happy to be part of this community.
Yeah.
Thank you for following. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you for arguing with us. Thank you for the weird beefs and all the weird stuff in between, because we wouldn't have it if it weren't for you guys.
Yeah.
I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm very happy to be part of this community. I'm part of many communities, and I'm happy to be part of this one.
Yeah. Thank you, man. That's solid. Yeah, I got a lot of love for the Beyblade community. I'm glad got introduced into it, and things have been going great. And I really saw that once again in my last tournament. Shout out to North Carolina. Shout out to all the communities. I know North Carolina is my personal community, and we get a lot of love. And I really appreciate that. I will put your Instagram as well as your YouTube channel in the description below, so you could check out both. So you could see some cool battles from BeyBladeChallenge and also some cool photos. This man is really about the plastic life. So if you check out his Instagram, like you see a plethora of plastics, and also he sells plastics. You can get the bunches or the bundles, or you can get them individually. Just hit him up, let him know. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you so much for the support. I'm pretty sure this will be the last one to come out for this year. So Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays as a whole. Happy New Year. Thank y'all so much for the continued support with 4Gaming, the Beyblade community, listening to the podcast and the channel. We appreciate it. Thank you, Rob, for coming up here today, man. We appreciate that.
Thank you for having me here. It's truly a pleasure.
It was great having you, buddy.
Yeah. Thank y'all. All right, everyone. And keep getting out there, blade hard, grow your communities. All right. And take care.
See y'all next year.
Bye-bye.